Diagnostic nasal endoscopy is a office-based procedure commonly done in ENT to assess the nose and the paranasal sinus disease. The setup required for the DNE procedure are endoscope, the camera head, the light cable, and the endoscope cleaner.
This rigid endoscope has a working length of 18 cm with an eyepiece where camera head can be attached and a port for attachment of the light cable. The lens can be cleaned with Savlon, which has anti-fog properties. We also need a Tilly's forceps, a metallic suction cannula, and a Freer's elevator. The rigid endoscopes come in two diameters, 4 mm and 2.7 mm. 4 mm diameter is commonly used in adult patients and 2.7 mm in pediatric patients. Based on the angle of optical axis with the instrument axis, the endoscope can be 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 70 degree, 90 degree or 120 degree. Color codes are given based on this angle. Green is for 0 degree, red is for 30 degree, black is for 45 degree and yellow is for 70 degree. The ones which are commonly used in diagnostic nasal endoscopy are 0 degree and 30 degree. 30 degree scope is preferred for DNE because it provides better details of the lateral wall. For visualizing the frontal recess, maxillary sinus, antrum, walls of the cavity, etc., we need higher angulations like 70, 90 or 120 degree scopes.
Coming over to the assembly of the setup, this is the light cable, this is the camera head.
There are buttons on camera head for changing the focus, zooming in and zooming out. The buttons 1, 2 and 3 are for capturing an image, changing the white balance and narrowband imaging respectively. And there are ports in monitor for attaching the video recording cable, the light cable and attaching an external USB source for copying the video and photo data. The preferential placement of the monitor should be such that the examiner, the patient and the display are in a same line. First, the examiner must explain the procedure to the patient, which will help the patient to relax and cooperate better with the examiner. Routine diagnostic nasal endoscopy is performed with patient sitting in an upright position. Then we spray 10% lignocaine in the bilateral nasal cavities. The onset of action of lignocaine is 1 to 5 minutes, so we need to wait at least 5 minutes after spraying local anesthesia before starting the procedure. Its duration of action is 15 to 60 minutes and the maximum dose which can be used is 200 mg to 600 mg. We pack the nasal cavity with neurosurgical cottonoid patties or Mirocell for better application of local anesthesia and decongestants. The commonly used solution is a 1:1 mixture of 4% lignocaine plus local decongestant like phenylephrine or xylometazoline. Adrenaline is not preferred in diagnostic nasal endoscopy because it changes the color and characteristic of the mucosa. Three most common places where we place these nasal packs are: first, in the sphenoethmoidal recess; second, near the axilla of middle turbinate; and third, in the floor of the nasal cavity. Now I will demonstrate the three passes of diagnostic nasal endoscopy. With each pass, the examiner must notice the color and appearance of nasal mucosa, the presence of polyps or secretions or inflammation, or any visible anatomic abnormalities like a septal deviation, septal spur, concha bullosa, or accessory ostia present. All passes should be as atraumatic as possible and any forceful contact with nasal mucosa should be avoided. Freer's elevator can be used to manipulate the turbinate, but care should be taken not to injure the turbinates. The first pass is along the floor of the nasal cavity. Along the floor, we should inspect the inferior turbinate, the septum, and the mucosa. Once we reach the nasopharynx, we should examine the adenoid pad, look for torus tubarius, the eustachian tube opening anterior to it, and fossa of Rosenmuller posterior to it. We should also examine the inferior meatus and look for the opening of the nasolacrimal duct. During the second pass, the nasal endoscope is passed medial to the middle turbinate. We should look for any abnormalities in the superior turbinate or the sphenoethmoidal recess. We should also try to locate the natural sphenoid ostium as seen here. For the third pass, the endoscope is passed laterally to the middle turbinate. We have to look for the uncinate process, the sinus ostia, presence of any accessory ostia, and the bulla ethmoidalis, and examine the middle meatus area.